and welcome to Third Block News. Today we are reporting on the story of how the Devil in the White City has been freaking everyone out. The book is by Erik Larson, who started off his career as a Wall Street Journal journalist, quit out of his job there, and shortly after quitting found his true passion, writing novels. He started off with writing 3 other novels before writing The Devil in the White City. His first 2 weren't very successful until he came along his 3rd one, Isaac Storm, which came along and really kicked off his career. When writing his novels, he usually finds and picks a topic that he finds to be interesting, and then completely researches almost every detail of the story he's found. His stories are always based off of events, structured like novels themselves, making his storytelling even more rich and much more story-like. Could this possibly be the effect we are looking for? Now, onto the background. The background information on the Devil in the White City takes place in the 19th century, and it is a telling of the murders that took place during the 1893 Chicago's World Fair, which was a celebration of Christopher Columbus's landing in America 400 years ago. Erik took an interest in writing this novel when he was looking over old articles on the mystery of the fair, and the speculation of murder surrounding it. Once he decided he was interested in the mystery, and decided that he was set on writing a novel about it, he began to research every part of it, or everything he could on the World Fair, and then began to piece his novel up based on the facts he found. As he's done with every other novel he's written. Okay, now, onto an eyewitness reporter, Tyler.
Characters, architect Daniel Burnham and serial killer H.H. Holmes. The first half of the story focused on the construction of the White City, the Great Chicago Fair, and the struggle Burnham was put through to build a national wonder. There are many conflicts that added to the stress of the fair. For example, the anticipation that the fair would be a national sensation, so Burnham had to design something that would live up to their expectations. Timing was a big problem as well, as construction was way behind schedule due to design errors and horrible weather. One of the major conflicts that spread throughout the story was money, as during the time, banks were failing all throughout Chicago. The second half of the book focused on H.H. Holmes, who seduced women and became a skilled serial killer, mainly targeting people at the fair. Larson was able to cleverly portray how Holmes was both charming and terrifying at the same time. Now, there are some critiques to this story. The first one is Erik Larson's writing style was interesting because it's very descriptive and he was able to paint a clear picture of the fair in Chicago itself. However, his writing was very factual and included statistics to help have a better understanding of the grandeur of the setting. However, his writing was very factual and included statistics to help get a better understanding of the grandeur of the setting. For example, he recorded dates such as October 25th, 1890, the site of the fair was still unchosen, and specific dollar amounts, like when he states an operating profit for that 1 week of $13,948. He does this to accurately show the progression of time throughout the novel, that the story takes place over a few years rather than just one. It also helps to compare and contrast the success of the fair with that of other famous attractions, such as the Eiffel Tower. Larson also used dramatic closing sentences after each chapter, which compelled readers to continue on as well as express how important certain scenes were, such as the accident cost 4,000 lives, or in 3 weeks that question would find an answer. Before reading, I expected to learn more about H.H. Holmes and his story before and during the fair. What I found out, however, was that the story was more about the background of the Chicago Fair and its planning and construction. I found learning about the fair rather boring, but it was nice to see it unfold and come to life throughout the story. Once it picked up a little more than halfway through, the story finally transitioned to more of Holmes' story, and it got more interesting. If I were to talk back to the author, I would suggest not to dwell so much on the construction of the fair and get more into detail about the final product of Holmes. Otherwise, he's really in-depth in his writing, and everything was very detailed, and it created a great picture of the story and gave a lot of information about it. Now, this book is not for everyone. It appeals to those with a liking for a thrill, mixed with an interest of how the fair, such as the White City, was created. This is because the first half of the book focuses on construction plans, workers, and the stress and anxiety it caused the architects to create a breathtaking fair by opening day. The next half focuses on H.H. Holmes and his story, going wife to wife, and his clever act as a serial killer. So I would recommend this for someone who likes murder mysteries or crime novels, or someone who likes nonfiction and is looking for a factual story. The New York Times even reviews the story and gives this nonfiction book the dramatic effect of a novel, and it doesn't hurt that this truth is stranger than fiction. For many people, however, I think they'd find it boring, especially those who are more into fantasy or dystopia. This is because it is slow in the beginning and consists of facts more than creativity, which is what fantasy lovers look for in books. From reading this book, you learn a lot about Chicago in the 19th century and the hardships it faced, for example, an economic depression. It is worth the read if you're particularly interested in the Chicago Fair or Holmes' story, but otherwise it's not worth the investment. Overall, I thought this book was pretty good. It was a little slow in the beginning, but at the end, it pulled through.
There you have it, folks. Maybe this will give everyone a big insight on the craze following the book, The Devil in the White City. This is Third Block News, signing off.